Rastafari, and no religion and we life. They want to see the true vision of the Christ in our eye. You no born a sinner, that a lie. So no bother get frustrated youths. Me want to see a nation of motivated youths. No longer politics are separate the truth. Rastafari way we choose. Yes, the youths need to know the knowledge of the key to any possibility that them can achieve. The youths need to know the way to the truth. So many growing up to be a slavery recruit. The youths need to know about them family, them ancestral lineage and what that really means. Yeah, burn it down and down.
Protect me under their wings. I see no evil, hear no evil. He is by my side. I read the Bible, know the Bible. Jesus is alive. When I'm down and in tears, and no one seems to care. When my friends become my foes, and my foes become my peers. When life gets the best of me, and I feel like the ending is near. I fall down on my bending knees, and all my troubles I share to God Almighty. He's better than any rehab, God Almighty. He's the one true friend I have, God Almighty. He's the one who soothes my pain, God Almighty. I'm not ashamed to praise His name. I call on Him every day. Feel Him when I pray. When my enemies rise up against me, He keeps them at bay. He's my rock and my shield. In His presence I will kneel. God of Abraham is the only one. He is all I need. God Almighty. He is better than any rehab. God Almighty. He's the one true friend I have. God Almighty.
Well, welcome. It's Friday evening here on Ferrity Radio. My name is Freestyle. I've got a very special guest with me in the studio by the name of Radikal Ra. Well, you know what I'm saying? Welcome, Radikal. How you doing, man?
Yes, definitely. Excited to be here, Freestyle, DJ Freestyle. And I tell you, I think it's overdue.
Indeed. Yeah. Well, we've just been giving you some music here, reggae rhythm here. This is Lady Soul. God Almighty, and of course you know that now she's changed. She has changed a lot. Now preaching the word of God. Well, you got to give her respect for that. The amazing Lady Soul.
Yes.
My Jehovah Jireh, my rock, my fortress.
We've got plenty for you here. And you're going to hear much more from my special guest tonight.
Believe.
Radikal Ra.
I fear Him.
Reggae artist, UK born.
I tell Him all my secrets, cause I am not ashamed. God Almighty. He is better than any rehab. God Almighty.
Well, inside is rhythm, teach thy youth.
True friend I have. God Almighty.
Kabaka Pilgrim.
He's the one who soothes my pain.
Pyramid, sorry. Kabaka Pyramid. And Freedom There by Roman Vigo. Days like this, Zaga. Shout out to all the reggae fans around the world. This is your nostalgic station. Welcome to Ferrity Radio. We're live on YouTube. You can find us on Ferrity London. We're live. When it comes to music, we represent here on Ferrity Radio. such a talented artist with me tonight. He's here to teach, educate, and entertain. Watch the ride.
This is for my teacher, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's Jameria, yeah.
Jameria Morgan, teacher.
Teacher, oh, you're looking so pretty today, yeah. Listen, teacher, I'm looking forward to getting an A. As I rise up this morning, I plan to have a good day. And I don't care what they say, yo, to me, I'm a teacher's pet. Do anything where you say, anything you want. You tell me one day I'ma be a star. That's why I'm a favorite, and I'ma keep on singing. Teacher, oh, you're looking so pretty today, yeah. I said, teacher, I'm looking forward to getting an A, yeah. I said, teacher, you're looking so royal today, yeah.
Would love your comments here on Preferity Radio. Whilst you're watching us on, Preferity YouTube, you can subscribe if you haven't yet. We are building here on Preferity Radio. And we appreciate your comments as well. Live with me in the studio, Radikal Ra. But for now, just entertain you with some reggae music to make you feel cheerful.
That's why I'm a favorite, and I'ma keep on singing. Teacher, oh, you're looking so pretty today, yeah. I said, teacher, I'm looking forward to getting it. I said, she wants to be like them people on TV. She wants to look like them girls in the magazine. She got big dreams. She see herself on the big screen. She asks, do you love me? I say, you're just right. Absolutely, I love you just the way you are, girl. You don't have to change, you don't have to do a thing, no, just the way you are, girl. If you put on a powder, if you take off a pound, ooh, just the way you are, girl. Wake up with no makeup when I break up, just the way you are, girl. In my eyes, you're a star, girl. Hey, she fit me, and she give me love plenty. Yeah, she authentic. This are the real thing, this are the plastic. See, I got big plans. Are you flipping my wife? I'm not your husband. She said, what is it you like about me? Mr. Woman, you're not fit, change nothing. I love you just the way you are, girl. You don't have to change, you don't have to do a thing, no, just the way you are, girl. If you put on a pound or if you take off a pound, babe, just the way you are, girl. Wake up with no makeup when I break up, just the way you are, girl. And in my eyes, you're a star, girl. Yeah. Oh, ooh, yeah. Hey, star girl.
Well, you can't mistake the man's voice.
Hey,
Mr. Tyrus Riley.
girlfriend so classy, with the brains and the
You love your soul, you know. Mr. Barry White.
my Miss World, me a dim.
Just the way you are.
And she broader than a
Reggae is nice.
me even watch TV. In a me yard, me have a beauty queen.
Well, I tell you what, times are hard, man. We need medication to get us through.
It's like the nicest thing when me roll the greens. Take a little puffer so me get relief. One in me throat so me grab a broad leaf. Wrap it on the word, no give me no small shit. Feel we style, feel we vibe, so we wild, crocodile. Oh, better you chop down the cane field until you reach down a sound, lad. Me I go plant up the great steel. I when soldier man come round, high grade up, Pandelana, high grade up, from the still donna, high grade up, Alpan and Kata, high grade, that me want, high grade up, Pandelana, high grade up, from the still donna, high grade up, Alpan and Kata, high grade, that me want. Light up the coachy so, I make me puff it up. No epilepsy, nobody come here so. Watch his blue face, reward. Better you chop down the cane here until you reach down a sound, Lord. Me I go plant up the great steel. I went soldier man come round. High grade up, Pandelana. High grade up from the still done.
Prince Levi. Yeah, with high grade. Sorry about that. My kid's copying off. I don't know why.
It's like the nicest thing when me roll the grease. Take a little puffer so me get released. Bone inna me throat so me grab a branch.
Tell you, man, things not easy right now.
No small shit, feel it side.
Hard times, man. Hard times.
So we ride.
Everyone needs something to pull through.
Better you chop down the cane here until you reach down a sound.
Shout out to all the YouTubers.
Plant up the great steel.
Welcome to Fertility Radio. This is your nostalgic station.
Pandelana, high grade up from the still done. High grade up.
Well, I tell you what, we've got more music for you here on Fertility Radio. If you haven't yet tuned into Fertility Radio, welcome. We have a radio app you can download on your Android and Apple phone. It's available right now. Go and get it. You will love it. All sorts of genres, and we're specialized in African music as well. If you love your Amapiano, Afrobeat, classical highlife, juju, jazz, Afro funk, disco, psychedelic, gosh. Inside a reggae jam rhythm. You ready?
Where you wanna go? At the reggae show. We love a reggae show. At the reggae show, that's where I wanna be. I and I love positive energy. Singing for my people, yeah. Singing for my people, yeah. At the reggae show, that's where I wanna be. I and I love
Just getting my special guest here in the studio into that mood.
people, yeah. Singing for
Radikal Ra inside the studio. We're live on YouTube.
If you ready, tell me if you ready.
Yeah.
A sweet bass line in your chest, in your belly. Tell me if you ready, tell me if you ready. A sweet reggae music, I meet rock steady.
Yeah.
Tell me if you ready, yes I know you're ready. Jump around cause you just don't care. Tell me if you're ready, yes I know you're ready. Jump around, you don't know one in the
reggae show,
air.
that's where I wanna be. I and I love positive energy. Singing for my people, yeah. Singing for my people, yeah. At a reggae show, that's where I wanna be. I and I love positive energy. Singing for my people, yeah. Singing for my people, yeah. When you see the flags, them
The sounds of get it. That's right. Am I there? Yeah, that's right. Oops.
Yeah, that a youth and green occupation.
Utan Green
up anywhere. No, we no care.
and Teacher D.
Intention.
Them see we mash up everywhere. Cause we not fair. And music is our salvation.
Listen, man, reggae is nice.
But share something. Make sure the fight where you want fight with all of your might.
My special guest has got a brand new single out,
The fight where you
Mind Over Matter. You will hear it here first.
we're good, I feel something we're bright. The fight where you want fight with all of your might. I feel righteousness, I feel something we're right. The fight where you want fight with all of your might. I feel something we're good, I feel something we're bright. We can't take the war and bear hostility, bear negativity we see in this vicinity. People are bad every day in the community to mash up them life, it a destroy them liberty. There's no peace, me say no tranquility. To cut your lifespan, want stop your longevity. System a push you every day, to lose your sanity. All this in the name of vanity. Make sure the fight that you want fight with the
Well, don't give up.
feel righteous.
Life is tough.
Is something we're right. The fight
Can we get pushed all the time?
all of your might. I feel something we're good. I feel something we're bright. The fight that you want fight with the
Shout out to Miss Robin.
righteousness. I feel
You've had a really good Tuesday.
you want fight with all of your might. I feel something we're good. I feel something we're bright. But all me say your wars and rumors of war. Me no know, them no know what they fighting for. It talk belong before the old Spaniard jar. Jump car, bicycle, donkey, old car. We don't want no sad faces. We say people feel be jovial. No one no
gosh. Rumors of what is spreading, especially right now in all around the world. Talking about one state taking over. This can only happen in Babylon. Watch out, Babylon City. Danny Ranks.
Down there in a Babylon city, where there ain't nobody caring for another one. Scornful ways in a Babylon city, but we holding on strong.
Distraction. Everything taking place right here.
Where one set up them plan, yeah. Never control everyone with them scientific ammunition.
And they're talking about a new variant.
With them biblical misinterpretation.
Boris said it about 2 years ago
I want this from creation.
at one of the G summits that this virus injection is going to be an ongoing thing.
Where there ain't nobody caring for another.
Now the fourth one is coming up. The super booster.
Babylon city, but we holding on strong. Question: why microtypical identity? Why satanic technology? Why genetical food it abides on with? And when we them said the Babylon are spying with, 1901 live the shits them are fighting with them iris recognition activity. Babylon are quantity, our children we are quality. Standing firm with identity.
That's right. Stand firm. Well, get ready for Abba Maya. He's talking about conscious awakening. Last one inside of reggae.
Some people I am asking, get up and stay up. I tell you wake up now, get up and stay up. You got to be positive, get up and stay up. No time for sleeping, get up and stay up. Wake up, no ow. I gotta be real cause there is no room for pretender. Love seal up now with things embedded in no nature. I believe you're black, I believe you're white, so one creator. Just be real, with your preaching, never you be no traitor. The most I give us blessing, so I dare to his teaching. Whoa. I give thanks for existing, cause so many been gone and missing. Whoa, alright, get up and stay up. I tell you wake up now, get up and stay up. No time for sleeping, get up and stay up. We all gotta be positive, get up and stay up. Go out, yes. The people is my concern, so with that hammer, with that turban, your swords are fire burning red. I gathering all soldiers to tear down the walls of Babylon and yes, correcting wrongs with right instead. Yes, I tell you, singing on earth. Yes, the time is getting tricked, and yes, so many of my people been misled. I guess a message to the wicked. Wolves in sheep covers, away from a sleeping bed. Get up and stand up. I tell you, wake up now. Get up and stand up. No time for sleeping. Get up and stand up. We all gotta be positive. Get up and stand up. Conscious awakening.
That's right. The sounds of Iba Maya. Conscious awakening.
Girl, we just reached 10 of baby in a belly, now play with no toy. Them no want about it, the system designed to keep the.
But I tell you what, when we're talking about conscious awakening, I wonder about the young people. Are they really conscious? Are they awakened? I'm not sure. Maybe they are. But they're just so not connected with us as parents nowadays. Or it's just me. Oh, come on now. Well, my special guest is right here in the house with me, Radikal Ra.
Yes, I.
Yeah, man. You know what I mean? I've been playing some reggae tunes here. This is one from Iba Maya, Conscious Awakening. And we had their house of, this is the house reading. And then we had Babylon City. All these messages that you're talking about, you know, with the war going on, these, you know, scientific world that we are now emerging into, you know, the fourth generation and all of that. What do you make of all of these coming through the reggae music?
The time that we're in right now. It's a critical time for the music to be able to deliver the messages that's gonna help to awaken, uplift, motivate, and inspire the people, the ones that chose themselves to do the works. You see, they say many are called, but chosen are few. But the ones who chose to do the works they chose themselves. So some of us have forgotten that we did make that choice to come here to make a change. So I'm saying, with reggae music, we can hope to spark that memory in that DNA to wake us up to the works that we need to do to help to move humanity forward into the new era.
Yeah, man, because, we're hearing now, it's been a really tough time, isn't it, the last 2 years, if life wasn't even tough enough, all throughout, the period. But especially, it's mostly recognized and nearly forgotten about what had happened, really. Very tough, isn't it, that we've all sustained?
In order for the cycles to continue, there has to be a certain amount of destruction to bring forward creation. So I'm talking about even the leaves have to drop off of the trees.
Naturally?
Yeah, to enable new leaves to grow.
Naturally.
Right, so this is what we're seeing. You see, it's when we're in the midst of it, we sometimes not fully aware of the big picture. But when you really look at it, this is just a natural cycle that we're going through. And it takes, through nature, a certain amount of destruction to bring forward the new. This regime or systematical oppression that we're going through has existed for hundreds of years. This manipulation of the mind of human beings and the attempt to control one human, control another human, and to, they've put so many systems together to enable this to happen. And we have now reached that point. We're at that pinnacle, that point. And even to this day, some say the significance of this day, we're on the 22222 day, right? The 22nd of the second month in the year 2022. All right? Some put a significance into that and saying this is now the tipping point. We're now in that new era where now the positivity, the light, you can even call it the light. There's many ways of describing it. But that light is now shining brighter than ever. And it's exposing a lot of the darkness that was hidden. You see, so this is a great time. A lot of those dark things that were hidden cannot survive in the light. This is, like them vampire movie when the vampire step out into the sun and the sun does burn him up. This is what's happening. The light is shining on the darkness and it's disappearing. Yeah. So this is now, I'm saying, with reggae music, it is a vehicle, it is a tool that can be used to help bring forward this light. And that's how I see my mission as an artist, to help create those visions, to create those vibrations that's going to help humanity to overcome this wicked, evil oppression that's plagued us for thousands of years.
Well, that's the voice there of Radikal Ra, and we are live on YouTube for Ferrity London to see him in the studio. So we're going to come back. You've just given us a take of the tracks we've just played. And now, here on Ferrity Radio, this is a nostalgic station, so we do feature all sorts of genre. Maybe not so much in trance and techno and all of that. We have recommendation from, DJs around Europe. They're more specialized in this sort of music, and they really want to come on board. But I was speaking to one today. I keep getting all these emails, and I goes, do you know about Afrobeat and Amapiano, because they're more into the house, the raw house, and all of that. And she goes, no. I says, well, maybe you need to go do some research and stuff like that. But it's good to know that they are listening. She's from Lithuania.
Okay.
So there you go. But shout out to all our listeners around the world. You're welcome. This is Freestyle here alongside my special guest, Radikal Ra. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a few Afro beats for you. I'm a piano, and we'll come and settle with Radikal Ra to tell us more about what he does and who he is. Right here on Fiferity Radio. This is Uma Lay. And the track is You.
Girl, you know I had to go to work for the words, for these words for you. If I have to put on my health in a post, in enough for you. Ain't nobody know the cause of my matter, easy my shawty. Anybody underestimated the matter, tell them I say no, my shawty. If you need a fire, I'll be a ladder. Please be judging, put me on trial. If you think I hurt ya, put me underwater, take me gutter. I don't need that liar. I love you. Ooh, whoa. Can you see that? I love you. Whoa. Can you see? Say, I love you. If you want make a ginger, give me tea, kokoro. My coach, I beat your love. Anywhere I go, just come up with me, my bum, my love. So they do like my love. If you want make a ginger, give me the kokoro. My body beat your love. Come make a show you my banana. No, they do like bolo.
Hope you're enjoying the Afrobeats here. Drop. Swati Soul, Susanna, shout out to you. These Days by Tams, Boys, Yemi Alade, Ginger, Whiskey and Bono Boy.
Oh Lord have mercy, mercy. This fake love done the plenty, plenty. Then they try to man dirty, dirty. Jaja, maja, chessy, yo, yo. Who born the person, person? They won't cross me, may they try me, try me. Red eye, no more body, body. Can't kill my light, I'm sorry, sorry, oh. When I show, may they make way when I show. When they best I go the ball. I go the dengue, I go the ball. I go waka, when I show. When they make way when I show. When they best I go the ball.
Sounds of Zili, specialized, like I said, here on Favorite Radio, in all forms, genres, African music, jazz, funk, Afrobeat, Amapiano, iLife. Make sure you download the app and welcome. Here with me in the studio, Radikal Ra, a reggae artist from the UK. He's loving, I said, a Radikal Ra. That's how we roll here on Favorite Radio. Make sure you download the app. Music, conversation, entertainment, and education here on Favorite Radio. And make sure you check out our podcast as well on Spotify. Favorite Inspire.
Your worries and go
tell you what, I gotta play this. This one right now, you cannot go into any party without hearing this one here. Amapiano. Gotta take it from the top, man. DJ, give it, baby. Well, it's 3 minutes before the top. 7 minutes. 6:54 now, so we're approaching the top of the hour here. And on the other side, extensive conversation with my special guest, Radikal Ra. In the meantime, he's bubbling to the South African concoction of jazz, Afro house, and a Zulu beat. Amapiano. Gonna give you a touch till the top of the hour. Musa Keys. Shout out to you, man, like Sean Arkins, Los Angeles. Enough respect to you, sir. An amazing musician. He was part of George Benson when he came here to the UK. Osun Yemi, shout out to you as well. From Uganda. Send in your tune, man. Osun Yemi, and we'll feature it here on Ferry Radio, right?
ngempela
Sahlondoza Gizon indosa
Anda ngempela Abe kade sita
Sahlondoza Gizon indosa
Tanda ngempela Abe kade sita
Sahlondoza Gizon indosa
Tanda ngempela
Sahlondoza Gizon indosa
ngempela
Sahlondoza Gizon indosa
ngempela
Sahlondoza Gizon indosa
ngempela.
Well, that's how we roll here. Keep it locked to Feferity Radio and make sure you download the app. Please subscribe and share. Thank you very much. We'll be back. And this time you're going to hear extensively from my special guest, Radikal Ra, reggae artist, UK born.
risorse, sceglienza, tanta che bella, adeguate, senta 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 risorse, sceglienza, tanta che bella.
All your major and social downloads. Get your copy now and watch the video on Ed Bentley YouTube channel. Do the color machine.
Akwesi Boutique are proud sponsors of Verity Radio. Akwesi Boutique inspired by 50s and 60s African fashion nostalgia, yet quintessentially British with a London accent, creating custom-made orders for special occasions. Akwesi Boutique create unique hair and clothing accessories that are quirky, classic and stylish for both men and women. Akwesi is a zero-waste design boutique, sourcing distinctive and colourful textiles from remnants, making most of their items one of a kind. You can find Akwesi Boutique on Instagram and Facebook. For more information, email akwesiboutique@gmail.com or visit the website www.akwesiboutique.com.
Sing hard as times are, you will always have me. I'm giving you my all, girl.
Never question what I'll do for you. Love is immeasurable. I have an endless supply for you. Say I've got you, you've got me.
That's all I want.
I've got you, you've got me.
That's all I
time. I'm the luckiest guy in the world, 'cause I
got you, you got me.
That's all I know. Oh, baby.
I got you, you got me.
Baby, that's all.
Well, hope you're liking this one. I've got you. Sean Atkins, amazing jazz guitarist. I'll be so proud to speak to him. Met him once here in the UK. Always been a supporter of Fairy Radio. Let's look out for that conversation here. Shout there to Sean Atkins. I've got you. If you're with us on YouTube, he's there watching. He says, oh my God, I've got chills. Amazing, talented, creative musician. Make sure you check him out. Loads of music from him there. I've got you. Well, in the studio, I've got Radikal Ra with me here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, from one amazing musician, and I would say a gradually developing, established musician like yourself, Radikal Ra.
Yes, I mean, you know, it's you never stop learning.
Indeed.
Music is life, so like life, you continually evolve. You know, I'm always learning, and it's good to have a thirst for learning, a thirst for knowledge. You know, and I always say, learning is like growing. And what happens to a tree when it stops growing?
Mm-hmm.
You see, so therefore, it's essential to keep growing. And when you hear people say things like you can't keep teach an old dog new tricks, that's rubbish.
You don't believe in that?
Nah.
Real?
And you know,
okay.
When I look around, some of my peers, some of my brethren and so on, they're like, yeah, we're at the stage now, we need to slow down. And I'm like, no. You see, over the years, you've gathered information, knowledge, skills, etc., etc. So what, you're going to use all of this that you've gathered over the years and just sit down on it? Now's the time. You should be putting this knowledge, experience, skills into action. If not using it practically yourself, then teach it. But so much of us, it's as if there's this programming going on, and there's this thing that they call retirement that a lot of us are looking forward to.
So it's like, are you saying it's like, is that the idea of time? Say, for example, we kind of sometimes say we haven't got time. And we, within those times, we are doing something. And sometimes we're not doing the things that we love to do. But we just make excuse for time, that we haven't got enough time.
That's part of it. You see, that's the journey. I'm talking about, like, for some of us, it's as if we feel that we've reached a destination, or we're looking forward for some destination. We're sacrificing the things that we say we don't have time for, that we probably should be doing. We sacrifice these things to go and pay, make money to pay bills. And then save everything for the end, the retirement. But it makes sense to enjoy the journey as well as the destination, rather than sacrificing. Like some people have this philosophy, like you sacrifice on earth and you enjoy heaven.
Hope.
Yes. No. There's also a teaching that says heaven is right here on earth. So so enjoy the journey. Don't just sacrifice for the destination. That's partly what I'm saying. And also the fact that I'm seeing so many reach a stage in life, and it's as if they want to slow down and stop. And I'm saying, no, use what you've got, what you've gathered. and put that into practical use. If not yourself, then teach it, share it. And that's why I'm about right now. You know, I'm here today to share and what I've learned.
And also, if you're listening to us and watching us on YouTube, please, if you want to comment, you can obviously leave a comment to what you hear here on Prosperity Radio. You've got a tune out. I'm going to play it, and it's entitled No More, No Cry, No More.
No cry no more, yes.
All right, so let's listen to that, and we'll get into the conversation more. Radikal Ra, a reggae artist, and he's going to describe himself as well, because there are so many types of reggae artists. Here we are. Here we go. No cry, no more.
It's alright, it's alright, 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 alright. No cry no more because everything is okay. Please wipe the tears from your eyes because everything is alright. No worry now, do no worry. Well, worry and never solve no problems anyhow. No stress yourself because the storm is over. And right now, it's time for a calm. Well, long could draw sweat and short could draw blood. Which one is your choice? Same way you make your bed, same way you lay down, Bonnie. Who you gonna blame? No one else. The bigger the challenge now, the more you're growing. More you experience, the more you're knowing. The bigger the challenge now, the more you're growing. More you experience, the more you're knowing. Please do no cry no more because everything is okay. Please wipe the tears from your eyes because everything is alright. Well, even on a cloudy day, the sun is shining. Look out, some clouds have a silver lining. Seek yours and surely you'll be finding. As long as you don't give up, just keep on climbing. Just count your blessings and then you will see that things aren't so bad now. You feel better. Just count your blessings and then you will see that things aren't so bad now. You feel better. Please do no cry no more because everything is okay. Please wipe the tears from your eyes because everything is alright. Life is such a beautiful wonder. Let joy fill your cup until it runs over. And when your expectations are not fulfilled, this may lead to some disappointment. There's one constant now and that is change. If you're flexible then rearrange. Love is always there right in your zone. And remember you never walk alone. So please do no cry no more because everything is okay. Please wipe the tears from your eyes because everything is alright. It's alright, it's alright. Alright, alright, alright. It's alright, it's alright. Alright, alright, alright.
Yeah, it's alright. I remember an artist called Temba Matibise. He performed upstairs at the Ritzy in one of our events at the Ritzy in January. And he was telling me he's got a tune called It's Good to Cry.
Yes. All right. Let me explain. All right. What I'd say, there's two types of crying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's a crying that can help you to release the grieving and the sadness. You see, once you release that energy, the type of crying I'm talking about is that moany crying where you're complaining and moaning and it doesn't solve a problem. It doesn't there's no purpose to it. After you've released that negative energy or whatever energy you need to, you let it flow out. It's from there now, no crying. That's what I'm saying. Yeah? Because so much of us get into a mode where we feel that complaining is going to help. Now, if you understand the law of attraction and the word, sound, and power, what you focus on, what you speak, you bring into reality. So then it's going to be worthwhile to talk positive and speak positive without the complaining and moaning.
So what kind of prompt this for you to write No Cry No More?
You know, at the time it was just a song that came to me, you know, like we all get messages, and I actually made the beat, and then the words just came to me. It was received seriously, and that type of song,
based upon any circumstance or anything?
I never wrote a type of song in that aspect, in that way. That type of song, in terms of, it was just a different type of song from what I'd previously done. So it's as if it was opening a new era, and it was in lockdown. It was in lockdown. This is only like 2021 where I wrote that song. So there's other aspects to it because of the stress that so much of us is going through in this time. Yeah, we need a way to counteract it, to not absorb it, to not allow the stress to affect us detrimentally. So this is also an element of that song, you know, where I say, worrying never solve no problems, you know. Oh, it's time for a calm. This is the tranquilizer, and this is where meditation and those type of things come in. We need to take time out, even in the midst of a storm. And even when you're busy, and this is for people like entrepreneurs, even when you're at your busiest, you need to take time out of that storm and take time for that calmness, that meditation that's going to help to center you, balance you, realign, and press that reset button. Then you're ready to rock and roll again.
I mean, you know, the lockdown really brought about a lot of circumstances where people have to go through. I think we're forced to go into ourselves. We're forced to search ourselves. Just like we spend time, we're forced to stay at home. And most of us avoid it. You know, I mean, home is the last place that we want to come for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And so in that circumstances, like, we're forced to go into ourselves, forced to do all the cleaning up. Like you're saying, things have been really stuck up for such a long time, making excuses. We're just forced to do it. And so was a musician. You know, you was in a place where musicians were just thinking a lot and writing. Did you find time during that time, apart from writing this song, how many more did you found the time to pen down? And
yeah, a lot of ideas did stream through, and it was a creative time, definitely. You know, I wouldn't want to count, because sometimes you start something and it's just an idea and you don't develop it, you know. So there were a few ideas that came through at that time, you know. So the situation provided that opportunity where you could take time to just create. So it was a great time on one hand, you know. For some people, you know, it wasn't so great, but you have to use what you can use in any situation to your advantage. So I took time to go within, you know, and there's a saying, go within or go without. And within that seeking and searching, I came to a realization that all we need is within. All of this running up and down and all chasing all kind of material things, and what most of us do is to experience a certain type of feeling. Yeah, we want to feel good. That's what most of the things that we do and pursue, the ultimate goal is to have a good feeling. But check this. That feeling that so much of us is searching for is right there inside of us. So this was that realization that came to me on my meditations, you know. And this is why I would encourage ones, especially if you're going through a stressful life and you're very, very busy, take time to meditate. There's benefits that cannot be put into words. There's certain things I cannot explain. It's only when you yourself take
Practice.
the time and experience it yourself, then you know the value of it. It's helped me to think clearer, to see what's going on around me clearer, to understand some of the tricks that's so that's been played on us for so long. I'm seeing more clearly now.
We said tricks.
Tricks, I'm talking about, you know, like systematic oppression. That's what when I'm really, we were tricked into slavery. We were tricked into poverty. Yeah, we're tricked into debt. We're tricked into prisons. Yeah, economic slavery, it's all tricks. I say that it has detrimental effects. Tricks may be sounding a little light, but the effects of these games that these people are playing have had detrimental and even catastrophic effects on our people.
So do you include religion there? Because earlier on you
Religion
mentioned
is
about
part
that as
of,
well.
is one of the tricks.
Yeah.
It was used to manipulate, control, and to keep us down. You know, I even now sometimes, right now, you can walk through Brixton and you see some brothers on the streets. They'll be dressed up in some like Arab type clothes, and they'll be beating that Bible. You know, this happened the other day, and I see that they had highlighted many parts of the Bible, and they have studied the Bible. They probably know that Bible inside out. But I had to say one thing to them. Sometimes you have to go beyond the Bible. But what I didn't, and I probably should have said that there's a Bible within. There's a Bible written on your heart. Do you know that Bible? So what I'm saying when I say that, there is a direct connection with our source. Those people that wrote the Bible may have made that connection. If you're now reading from them, you're putting them between God. That's a middleman. We don't need middlemen no more. We have the direct connection.
Interesting. So there are a lot more, you know, when it comes to reggae artists, I want you to tell us about how do you see yourself? What sort of reggae artist do you see yourself? Because you got dancehall, you've got so many, you got conscious, you got so many different types. How do you see yourself as a reggae artist?
Yes, the reggae artist aspect of me is not due to the type of reggae, whether it's dancehall or roots, dub. It's not the type of reggae that defines me. It's the message within the music. To me,
is it revolutionary reggae?
Yes,
artist?
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely revolutionary, because I grew up on both the dub and the dancehall was the main two themes. Now it's got so many branches, but those are the two main themes that I was moving in and growing up listening to and enjoying. So I use both. You know, at the moment I'm not so focused on the dub, but I produce a dub album before I produce, you know, my vocal album.
Right.
So, like I said, it's not so much the type of music, it's the message within the music I see as the main focus. Like when you paint a picture, there's the subject and then there's the background. The type of music is the background. The focus is the message. You know? But then music is there's many aspects to music, because you don't even have to have words in the music that will still create an emotion that can be inspirational. So, I look at all of these elements. I'm studying music right now, and my dissertation is going to be about the healing effects of music.
Right.
Yeah, I'm fully aware and looking into that and utilizing that element of music.
It is true, because music, I think, is used in every aspect of human life.
So many. Any event you go to, yeah, you're watching TV, you're watching movies, whatever it is, whether it's entertainment, cartoon, news, this is gonna be music. Now they're looking at the metaverse. You've got the digital computer games. That's now bigger than movies and music. The industry is massive, but it still relies on that sound. That sound is the one that triggers certain emotions on a level other sensations don't do. So it is utilized very, very heavily. Like supermarkets now. Most supermarkets play music. So they understand the science behind it and using it beneficially. My focus has been like, how are we using these sounds to heal? So I've spoken to and I've interviewed sound therapists that are using tuning forks, gongs, and even words, affirmations. I'm learning. Affirmations can be very powerful if you know how to use it. The application of the information is very important, because you can hit or miss depending on how you use that information. So I'm also gaining some inside information, and very interesting to see and know that there are many, many ways of healing yourself. We must learn to heal ourselves if we're gonna survive the war.
So when you talk about the message, because it's very important, who do you think your message is for? Because when you talk about revolution, you're a revolution artist. So do you think
I'm
your message is
specifically referring to all who are ready to receive the message? Because at all times, our ancestors are reaching out to us at all times. But it's only going to be the ones who are open to hear the message. So it's really, if you're ready. If you're ready, you'll hear it. You know what I'm saying? If you're not ready, you won't. It's really just like that. So whoever is ready to hear my message and hears my message and it triggers them to do what they need to do, then that's who it's for.
Because when it comes to the message, especially nowadays, this era that we're living in, there's so much trauma, pain, despair going on. And there's certain messages that really hooked on the people. And there are certain messages that you don't really want to hear about. So, like, when you trying to think about certain music that you want to put out, is it for a certain particular space you're looking at your music to be played?
No. You see what it is?
Because we got clubs.
It might sound strange.
We got clubs.
Yes.
We've got hospitals. We've got dancehall. We've got bars,
yes,
and all of these. Specifically, your music, which sort of space do you
envisage? There's no aim that I'm aiming for when I create my music. If there's anyone it's for me. I write to remind myself what I need to do to keep myself on point. Yeah, that's why I started in the first place. You see, and then I realized we're all going through the same battle. We're battling with ourselves to become better people, better. How could I say? To be better, just to improve. So that was one of the main reasons why I started writing. It's really for me, and to remind me to stay on track, keep discipline, do what you need to do. Go for your dreams, motivate. And I realized everybody needs those messages. We all need encouragement. We all need that get up and go. Sometimes we feel lazy, like, I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? So it's like that.
And you're a reggae artist, UK born.
Yes.
Tell us about, and you're a Rasta.
Well, you see that now?
Oh, no.
No.
Sorry, because you have locks.
Yes.
Because even myself, people kind of like, because I do have locks and says, oh, are you a Rasta? So I get that. You're born here in the UK and you've got a locks on your head. Tell us what it was like. I don't know how long you've had it, but when you decided to have it, what was the reaction?
The reaction was varied. Yeah, because
As a UK artist, because you got this cultural thing, because you got Jamaicans who are born in Jamaica,
Yes.
who sometimes sees the UK born dreadlocks or Rasta community as not the true Rastas, as imitators. There's been a sort of cultural conflict. I mean, even the messages as well, like Lovers Rock, was a big issue as well when it comes to the Rasta being a community, because it's like all about the foolishness. So, what was it like for you?
okay, my journey has been influenced by the teachings of Rastafari. All right. However, we evolve. So I take my teachings from many, many places. Now, when you're talking about how people perceive you, that's out of my control. Some people love what I do, and some people hate it. So you will find that amongst your people, some people love our culture in terms of being African, and some people are like, I'm not African. So we find that, but
Within the Rasta community, you're saying?
no, I'm
Specifically?
talking about generally as people, African people.
Okay.
Yeah,
In the
and
diaspora.
family, because you know what I'm saying, we have all different types of family. Now, if I was talking about the Rasta community, then no, I'd need to include all of the teachings I've had.
Mhm.
Now, I've been amongst Nation of Islam, Hebrew Israelites, Nuwapians, Al-Kabulans.
This is before you started growing your locks?
This was at the same time, more or less, in the early years when I was growing my locks, yeah.
How long ago you've had it for now?
I don't even count the years, my brother. And
2 decades or more?
yeah, over 20 years. Yeah. And like I said, I think...
So at a time before you kind of embodied the Rasta consciousness, you were looking through, searching.
Yeah.
So at that time, what was your first point of call? Was he as a Christian or Muslim or was it Hebrew?
Family, I went to Sunday school.
Yeah.
For a short time. Then being exposed to the teachings of Malcolm X, that was the first paperback book that thick that I read as a teenager. That planted a seed in my mind. Then the journey started. So growing up listening to reggae music and hearing the teachings of Marcus Garvey, Haile Selassie, within the music, the teachings was there.
Mm-hmm.
So then that also were elements that I pursued to find out more. So it was varied. It was always varied. And the journey, I even went to church for a while as a teenager with my guitar. Yeah, I enjoy playing gospel music. Make a joyful noise. No problem. But at the same time, I was still going to the dances, as a MC, sound man. So I never segregated my influences. I incorporated. I see that a lot of us do divide and see different factions of our family as separate. But
so
regardless.
Okay, so when you were going dances and involved in the church, because these are two contrary positions to be in, and we've all been in that position where we kind of either question the rule of the church or maybe question the society. The dance is like whether this is appropriate or not, whether this is righteous or not. So we're in that sort of state of conflict. But what you're saying here is that you kind of embrace playing in church and going to dances. You don't feel no kind of way about it. How was then the church? Because then, like you said, how you see yourself and how the people relate to you or perceive completely different. But how was the relationship with the church? at
Church
that
was
time?
okay, man. You know,
Yeah.
the church didn't have to know I was leaving the church and going home and smoking weed. They didn't have to know that. You know what I'm saying? When I'm at church, I'm a church man. I mean, I blend in. There's no issues. There was no issues. I didn't have no issues within myself, so there was no problems. I didn't go to one of the church where they tried to control you. This was a church where when you go there, they were wanting to make a joyful noise.
Which one? Is it Pentecostal?
This
or
was
like-
Pentecostal, yes.
Okay.
And grannies come there and skank off them foot.
Yeah.
You understand? So it was lively.
Uh-huh.
This was the excitement that I was seeking at that time.
And then what happened when you moved? From then on, you go seek, was it Islam or?
I went to a few Nation of Islam meetings, you know, and I got a lot of respect for that organization because they have helped to raise our people. So that was more like quest. It was a quest. Like I said, read Malcolm X. I understood. I never looked at it as a religious pursuit. That was seeing the order, seeing my people in a organization that was orderly. There's not many organizations can claim that. They have been able to structure themselves in a way that they are effective. So this is what I saw. I saw strength in that. I went there to find out more, you know. And then there's the spiritual organizations that have meetings who look at teachings of Marcus Garvey, like the Alkebulan, and they incorporate spiritual elements of our culture. This was appealing to me because I saw strength, and I'd still see strength in our culture, you know, and I really feel that that should be something we adhere to, stick to. Elements of it should never be given away, never be lost. You see what I'm saying? Because there's a foundation there. So yeah, all of these elements were I absorbed. I used to advance myself. So I never separate nothing, you know. I even seek to find out more about family in terms of the family tree, history, because my parents left Jamaica, come to England. Then there's a gap there. There's a generation gap. So me and my cousins them in Jamaica now, we're distant. So then I try to connect. So these are all elements of my search, my quest, you know, to really find out who I am and what I should be doing. Yeah, you mentioned religion. Religion as there's little evidence showing the real benefit in practical terms. Maybe there's spiritual benefits, but you know, a lot of the religion has been used against us. So I'm not really for religions. They've created so many divisions amongst us.
Okay, because I was going to go there. It seems as if, you know, when you're talking about how, because we all grew up in the church, but your quest, it seems as if that there was no dispute or disagreement involved for you to move to the next. It's just a matter of really finding out, you know, what really best suit you. Is that so?
Yeah, there was no one trying to control my journey. So I steered my vehicle on my journey, on my road, you know. So it was really up to me which twists or turns I take in my life.
So that was you can say there was a kind of, do you felt a kind of spiritual disconnection with the church as to where you move to Islam, and then you realize there's also a spiritual disconnection. But when it comes to the Rasta, it was that your place that you found that where you belong? Was this that kind of way? Because there's some kind of dispute for us to leave those fundamental institutions.
Yeah, you see what it is?
To become independent.
The way we see things and we perceive things as separate. I'm incorporating, so there's similarities in all things. And I was trying to find that common ground, you know, and use that to my benefit. Rastafari taught me many, many things, and it was essential on my journey. you know. But it's like with all the teachings, no matter where it's coming from, it could be coming, you know, through some channelers. And I listen to channelers who say that they are bringing messages from entities that don't have physical bodies, all right?
Right.
I listen to them. And I'm saying, I just keep an open mind because there will be truth coming through. And if it's relevant and it helps me to move forward, yes. How could I say? There's another thing that's really fundamental about the way I perceive things. And I say, when you know, there's no need to believe. And when we play Mind Over Matter, you will hear me say this in that song. When you know, there's no need to believe. You know, when I think it was one of the chiefs who said, I can't remember who it was. They said when before the Europeans came, we knew God. We did know God. After they came with their religion, we believed in God. That's backward. If you believe, there's an element that you don't know. When you know something, there's no element of doubt. You see what I'm saying? And if you really just lean on what you know, then we know very little.
So I think you're saying like God can be created as an opinion.
That's not what I'm saying.
Because, you know, an opinion is most of the time we don't really know the full detail, but we all have
we all have
to
different
say.
opinions. We all have different perceptions.
Yeah.
Yes. But that perception is unique. So we all have a different or a unique understanding of the source, the creator. And no man should really have to tell you how you should see your creator.
I think the idea of, don't you think because it's been taught that this is one God, so therefore if you picture something that you have to go and get, you're going to look into one source, a narrow road, a space in which you all have to get in. So the idea of trampling over will naturally come into a force because everybody now is trying to fashion what that God will look like. But like you said, in Africa, is that you don't believe, you just know there is something there. And they use things that are much more natural that they can put their hands to and see how it works for them. And off they go with life. But they don't spend time convincing there is one. So that's why there is no religious conflict or traditional religious or spiritual conflict when it comes to African spirituality. Because nobody claims one source.
This is it. Decentralized. Decentralized religion or decentralized traditions. Yeah. My thing is, God is everything. Love is everything. There's a unity that I'm still trying to really get my head around in terms of the concept of oneness. Because this oneness is on levels that it's incredible. The oneness is as if how do we see ourselves as separate when we're really one? In the reality, we're really one. But somehow, with the intelligence of the Creator, we are seeing ourselves as separate entities. You know?
You think that is institutionally created rather than naturally imposed?
Naturally,
because,
yes.
you know, we are naturally an individual self within. Like, for example, as a concept for me, I do take dearly the Ubuntu concept, I am because we are. Because, you know, that says, before me, there was someone here. And after me is going to be somebody. So it's how you look after the now that is important. Because, so that concept for me, I find it really, really important and true.
Okay.
But the idea of like, because I struggle with this as well. How can you just, if there's one God, then how can you tell another individual who sees it differently? But if we've probably had a disconstruction of the idea of one God and say, okay, there is an entity that creates this world. And there's night and day, and there are people who are tall and short, and this way or bad way and good. And you have to, like you said, we all have the Bible within. We all have something that tells us
guidance,
like a map, a road map, a world map, where we're going, what we do, how is it. We all have that sort of report we give to ourselves, aloud or maybe just unconsciously. So I think the idea of this oneness, it brings to the conclusion that, well, it could be at the end of the day, if I can use that phrase, there will be only one individual who can say, all of you are right. And to me, I find that really questionable.
Yeah, well, if we all have a unique way of seeing God, then we should all have our own, choose our own way to communicate, relate, our worship. I would say we should have that option if we so choose. But what has happened under institutionalized religion is one man sees it his way and says, you all have to see it my way. You all have to come to my church and worship this way because this is the way I see it, or this is the way I was told to see it. So it's control versus the freedom, you know. And my way of looking at it is that we are free, yes, and we need to live that freeness as we choose. And then there's this thing of free will. Yeah, I really feel that this is the thing that has been attacked. Yeah, our free will, even within religions. How can we say that there's free will, that God has given us free will, and then there's judgment? That's a contradiction in itself. This judgment thing, like there's going to be a judgment day. Yeah, there's a lot of, I call religious dogmas that's holding us back when we go into religion. Things that are not beneficial, but somehow they still hold on to it and try to enforce it.
But that's what I'm saying. We all have, like you said, unique. We all have a unique guide. You know that. Again, I think we all we do communicate with ourselves every single day.
Yes.
The steps that we move. Sometimes we decided to go to a particular location or place, and we're taking a very different, because our mind is somewhere else, and we're taking a very different route, and we realize that this is a very different route I'm taking, and then we move. And sometimes when you do good things, we tell ourselves, well done. You know you're happy. You know, you just feel good. And sometimes when you do the right thing, it's terrible. So I think we've got a unique, everyone's got a unique road map, that tells you, what is it. But I think that because of the creation of this aesthetic, this kind of like objective kind of way that we look at people, and it's difficult to see that one God. Because everything is more objectified, and that object creates that sort of opportunity or levels of priorities in life, and so it's like, it's very difficult for me. I quite find it hard to perceive how can we have one God, like you're saying, and then have everybody having their own set of direction, which of course that's the way it's supposed to be, as long as you don't really offend or take away, because there's certain rules, that
Yeah.
Is it the way you talk to people, or the way you do to people? You just love the way people do to you. So if you embarrass people, you just love to be embarrassed as well. If you're a man who punches people, you're going to get fight all the time. So it's just the way life is.
Yes. Whatever you put out is what you get.
It's what you get.
And
not all the time, but most times. Again, this is another contradiction as well, because sometimes it's not. You do if you're a good guy or good woman and you're doing good all the time, it's not necessarily mean you're gonna get good all the time, and that's where the critical thinking comes in.
Yes.
Because then you're thinking to yourself, well, I've been doing all this good, and I've got nothing back for it. So therefore, I'm going to be like, and I think that's where the critical thinking comes in.
Yeah, but there's also even the definition of good and bad. That's something that is not so straightforward. Yeah. Yeah. So that also has to be looked at. What is good? I guess we can go into that, you know. But what I'd really like to really touch on is we all have a certain amount of conscience or awareness of right and wrong also, morally or instinctively, to know right from wrong. Because a child will still know sometimes, not always, because a child will still put their hand in fire. But there are certain things that we do know instinctively. And if we can tune into this, then we're on the right track. You know, there's a lot of things going on in the world that we would say is bad. Or I think what I was thinking is when you said that is when we experience something that we may see as bad, when we look back and look at the bigger picture, we see that there were benefits to come from that. So what was originally perceived as bad, in the end, came out to be something good. So the good and bad thing, like you say, if somebody lives good, something may fall on their path that seems like a big obstacle, and they may struggle to get over that obstacle, but the strength that they develop to get over that obstacle is where the good comes in that situation. It's not so straightforward. This can be complex, and the Creator knows what he's doing. I guess I really feel that the Creator knows what he's doing, and to trust in the guidance is also a thing that can help to remove certain stress. So that's also something I'm seeking more and more. Guidance. Guidance. We're always being sent messages. Look out, watch out for that. And the more we can be in tune, the easier the path will be.
My special guest today in the house here on Ferferity Radio, Radikal Ra. Sean Atkins says, wisdom. Thank you very much for that. You've got a tune on about 5 out here. You're working on the album. I'm sure you're going to maybe, I don't know if you've worked out a name of the album, but there's a song here I want us to play called Belly Full. In times like this, belly full, of course, is like your stomach is satisfied.
Yeah.
Is a time like this when you talk about belly full and consider other places that as not as, don't have the same opportunity as us. When you think of places like Somalia, Libya, even in the Caribbean, some places in Europe that people find it hard to have 3 meals a day. Is that what it's about, or are you thinking about them? What is this tune about? Belly full.
All right. The tune is a version of a Garnet Silk tune, right? And he called the tune "Fill Us Up." I think he called it, "Fill Us with Your Mercy."
It's growing.
It's growing. Yeah. No, that's a different one. This in the song he says, "Have a lot and still wanting."
Yeah.
Right. Now this is where we're at. This is the time we're living in. We have all this technology. Sometimes we eat until our belly is full and we're still hungry. Why? There's something that's not being fulfilled. The song, to me, really speaks about quenching that thirst. It's a spiritual thirst that can only be quenched by the Creator.
Right.
That's my understanding of it. But so much of us go on a quest of things that won't quench that thirst. So we have all these things and believe that the material things, the pretty cars and the big houses is going to quench that thirst. It doesn't.
Belly full.
Yes, you're belly full, but you're still hungry.
You know something? I can equate that not to food, But when you look about these days, in terms of how much digits we acquire a day, or wanting to acquire a day to be satisfied, I thought about my phone contacts. I have over 1,000 of phone contacts. But I realize that it's too much, and I don't really speak to a quarter of it.
Okay.
So that is kind of like contact full. You know, so how many really, that these thousands of contact we have on our Facebook and Instagram, because these are the things as well. When you go into Instagram and Facebook, people look at numbers. Now, if your numbers is not full,
you don't look like
it's like you're not hungry enough.
Yeah.
You're not nobody.
Yeah.
But in another context, like you're talking about, it's just like we have,
but we still want more.
we still want more. It's a really contradictory world, isn't it?
Yes, and it's like, I don't know, man. Well, that song, I was just trying to explain how I see it, you know. But generally, it's quality over quantity. You know, I don't know if it can be applied in that context, but generally, that's how I try to move. Quality over quantity. You know, and that's even with people.
Right.
You may have 10,000 in your contacts, but how much of them is really, you know, a friend or someone that you can really call?
Yeah, well, that's exactly what I'm talking about. So there's a different way that we can look at it, especially in this sort of like the fourth, generation revolution, where it's all about the numbers, and we work very hard, and some people, if that number is not there, it's like something is not right, and we feel so disappointed because why? The number is not there.
Yeah. Well, even listening to some of these gurus, and in terms of my music career now, they do say again quality, because it's the level of communication that you have with your fans. Somebody may have 10,000 fans and only contact 10 of them, and the next person may have 1,000, but he's in touch with 300. So the level of communication and interaction definitely makes a difference in terms of the quality of the numbers, quality of the people, rather than just the number, And I
mean, you tell our young people that's what I was talking about, awakening.
Yeah.
Because you have so much, some of these numbers that we see on this social media are just ghost. And it represents numbers.
Well, you can buy numbers, man.
And this is the thing as well, that sometimes the younger generation might not understand that quality, less quantity is quality. So let's take a listen to your track. It's right on the top of our hours, 8.
Already?
200 hours here on Prosperity Radio and in London. This is Belly Full by Radikal Ra. sure, bring memories to Garnell Silk. Yeah, man. Sometimes, the remixes, they can go either way, isn't it?
Well, I try not to do it exactly like how Garnet did it. I try to do it in my way. So we'll kind of bring it in a new light, Yeah, that was the idea. I don't do money covers. Most of the songs I sing is my own penning. I write them.
Right. Well, my special guest in the studio, Radikal Ra, UK born reggae artist. So far, we've come to understand his journey as a full Rastaman. Grew up in the church, a Pentecostal church, playing music, the guitar, and going to clubs, rave, combined both, and moved on from the Pentecostal, find himself Nation of Islam, which of course helped him to grow and to understand himself. And he moved on as well to, you said, the Akebo land.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, Hebrew Israelites.
It's a black organization here as well, helping the repatriation and consciousness of. So now you're a full-fledged Rastaman, and talking about, as a reggae artist, you're a revolutionary reggae artist, and your message is for everybody.
Most definitely. Everyone can learn something from my messages. Each one teach one. I also like to learn from and listen to different artists, different musics from the world. So there was something I was gonna say. Yeah, I don't really label myself as any particular type of how could I say,
artist?
Not even artist. I generally don't even like labels because I don't eat meat, but I don't even call myself a vegan. You see what I'm saying? So it's like the label will limit you, because when you now say this person is so and so, the person's understanding of that word is how they are now seeing you in that light. And we are complex beings. Humans aren't simple. It takes years to know people and to understand, So to say this, I'm just here just doing my little bit to share what I've learned again, and I hope that the messages will be well received and inspire people to do great works. Yeah, likewise.
And you got a tune out called Eat Good Food, and you talk about vegan. This is now it's like food now, elite. I think another point of maybe discuss.
It's a big issue, man.
Right?
The food politics.
Exactly.
Crazy.
So this is the objectivity I'm talking about. How they create. So now, somebody who eat meat is somewhat looked upon, especially if in a crowd they talk about food and you have few vegans or vegetarians and all of that. I think the context is a little bit different now. I think it's a new form of discrimination when it comes to food. Is that right?
Yeah, there's issues there in terms of people trying to control people, because like me being a vegan is somehow seen as weird amongst meat eaters. So it's really
how weird.
You in the terms of you're not part of the crowd. You're not the main. You're now outside of this group because you don't eat meat.
Well, is that how the meat eater looks at you, or is that how you perceive?
You can feel that way, like you're different now because you don't eat meat.
Right?
People can make you feel like that, but it's now growing. There's more and more people and understanding the politics, even the way the we call it the aspects, the danger aspects of meat. There's many elements. I could go into detail from how the toxic effects that it has when your body breaks down meat, to the we call it the psychological state of the animals when they're going to be killed. They know that they're going to be killed, and that vibration is now in the meat. So there's all kind of elements I could mention,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But my reason is really first and foremost healthy.
Mm.
It's healthier.
I mean, the thing is with this food fight, I don't understand it either, because for me, I remember there was a friend of mine that she is a vegetarian, right? And she doesn't even allow you to come with burger or whatever in the house. And I'm like, that's basically too extreme.
Some people are what you call purists, and even in music, you can go amongst certain types of musicians, like a jazz man.
But you can go to
He
the
would
shop.
like-
But that's what
he
I'm
don't
trying to
wanna
say.
hear nothing but jazz.
That's what I'm trying to say. It's a bit too extreme, because when you go in the shop, you go to Tesco, they sell all kind of stuff, and you're gonna go through an aisle that you don't probably, choose to have anything there. So
It would the
you
real
eat
thing is-
chips.
it would the real thing is- it
You
would the
go to
real
the
thing
chip
is-
shop and buy chips where they sell all these things. So I don't understand. I find it hard to kind of comprehend a logic behind it, but I get it.
I would say the real thing is to know what's right for you. And if you're eating certain foods, try and find out at least where the food is coming from or how that food arrived on your plate. And it's hard in this time, but we can only do the best that we can with what we know.
Yeah.
So for me, it was a good move to steer away from meat. Because of the type of frequency I want to be vibing on. And I realized when I was going through that phase, when I was phasing it out, that I would reach a high frequency and then eat meat, and it would bring me down.
I think you're right, because again, in this sort of part of Western world that we're living in, everything is fast produced, and in order to get people, the population to, have food, there are certain means of creation that's going to take place. But I think there's certain truth there, because when you go back, say back in the days, where our parents, they live for over 90, 100, and they eat meat every day. But what kind of meat were they eating? Is meat
Different.
that they grew,
Different.
they nurtured,
Yeah.
grows around them,
There was harmony. there.
and there was harmony. And those even, it's like they know these, like the chickens and the cows and the goat, it's like they know that a certain period where one of them is going to go. So
Yes, but it's how. It's how.
yeah,
Because
so
you.
that's what I'm trying to say.
This is it.
The point of which the killing is taking place is so orderly, is so respectful. It's not like you're gonna stone them to death or you're gonna take a gun and shoot them. There's a ceremony that involves. And when you eat something like that, when you know where and how it's produced and for what reason you're eating, is a different kind of vibration, is a different
Yes.
kind of purpose to how your
Okay.
body react to that food.
Most definitely.
But a lot of the time, we eat food. It doesn't matter what kind of food you eat. But again, if we don't put a sort of a thought behind it when we eat, because back in the days we used to pray, innit? So that's the kind of thought you put, because whatever had happened, when the food gets to you. But now I think we just eat on a frequent basis, and we don't eat because
Mindless
we
eating
want
is
it.
called
We eat because
sometimes.
of certain
Yeah.
situations. We might be bored. We might be hungry. We might be fed up. We might lost our
100%.
relationships.
I'm
and
guilty of it myself. It's
so-
called mindless eating when you're eating and you're not really.
So I think even a
you know?
chicken that
Yeah.
you might grow in your house and nurtured, if you're gonna eat the chicken in the state of anger, it's still gonna be
Most definitely.
not healthy for you.
Right. So,
So
there
I-
are
yeah.
elements involved and what we have to take into account. I'm going to tell you a story. There was a man driving down the motorway, yeah? And a chicken ran past him and turned into a farm. The man was like, whoa, let me follow this chicken and see what's going on. And he drove into the farm and he spoke to the farmer and he said, farmer, I just saw a chicken that was running so fast I couldn't believe it. What's going on? The farmer said, yeah, we've been experimenting and we've developed a new chicken with 4 legs. The man said, wow, how does it taste? The farmer said, I don't know. We haven't been able to catch it. The moral of the tale is they're experimenting with things that they don't know the dangers of or the consequences. This GM technology is rigged with unexpected outcomes. Just like the mRNA, they don't have a clue what can happen. So
To some extent, I think they do.
they do now, yeah. But generally, what I'm trying to say is, sometimes it seems to me that they're playing with fire. With this genetic manipulation, it's a high science that you have to really know what you're doing. You know, and I don't think a lot of the Western scientists know what they're doing. To the state where I trust them, I don't trust their technology.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm not sure.
I don't trust it.
I'm not sure taking the excuse away, you know, because when a poor man steals, there's no excuse. He can say, well, I haven't eaten. They will say, well, why don't you ask? Well, I ask, I beg, but nobody give it to me. So it's not sufficient enough. So I think they know what they're doing. I mean, I'll tell you another, for me, it's like back in the days when, you know, growing up in Freetown, Sierra Leone, and we had access to all of these Western food. You know, like the luncheon meat was a big thing. You know, all these were meant to be some kind of upper class and food.
Rich man food.
Yeah, you know, and lots of this stuff. But I wasn't too keen. But what happened? If you go back and study certain illnesses and diseases that have come to being, is through this production of this, what you call preservative food. You know,
Manufactured.
because like I said,
Mass
if you go
produced.
back in the olden days, people eat meat all the time. They're most healthy. And also, when they eat meat, they don't just sit down there and watch TV, because there was no TV. There was a lot of activities. So all of these, for me, I think they really know the end game they want to play. Because, again, if it's about nature is not good enough, I think the competition is like, well, we can make it better. And I think that's whatever healthy condition that we're living in is as a result of trying to oppose what nature has created for us. And maybe in the Western world, it doesn't work that way, but there's a lot more scientific exploration that has gone on to create a certain new form of diseases that we're experiencing. So I think there's a knowledge there.
Anything that's not in harmony with nature is going to be a problem. All these deviants and deviations away from the order is going to be problems, you know. And we're seeing it. We're living in that time of a lot of deviance. There's a lot of deviation, and it is not looking good, you know, in terms of the state of humanity. You know, without getting too specific. You know, but generally, know what is right for you as an individual in this time. We're living in a time where it's like a minefield. You make a wrong step and you know you could just disappear. So, yeah.
Yeah, man. So we're going to play your track, even like the seeds as well that we use nowadays. You know, we say we are growing our own food. You know, it can be also questionable, isn't it? Those sort
The
of
source
seed that
of
we
the
use.
seed has
So
to
even
be-
though we're
yeah.
planting these things, but you can question that. But here is a track from my special guest, Radikal Ra, in tonight in the studio. And also we're live on YouTube for Ferry London. Eat good food.
Always.
Let's see.
It's all about your health. Yeah.
Yeah.
Digging up Lana Marshall. Yeah. Lydia. Who else are they tuning in? Tatenda. Yeah. Esther. The Ugandan Massive. Yeah. Eat good food and stay healthy.
And remember, your health is your true wealth. So you know. So you just eat good food, keep your body healthy. Good food, keep your body healthy. Good food and keep your body clean and healthy. Get into a routine where you exercise daily. Look after your soul, mind and your body. From you not care it, no one else a go mind it. Get up, sit up, step up, push up and press up. Whether you do the jogging or you prefer swimming, you playing your sports. Keep on playing as long as you are keep it up. You are winning cardiovascular. Just keep it pumping. Remember your health is your wealth. Now listen what I'm saying. Eat good food, keep your body healthy. Good food, keep your body healthy. Eat good food and keep your body clean and healthy. Get into a routine where you eat protein, vitamin and mineral from fruit and vegetable and cereal. First meal of the day, breakfast is essential. This will make you lunch and dinner more minimal. Too much red meat will raise up your cholesterol. Beans and greens in variety is nutritional. Let your medicine be your food, medicinal. Anything else, well, that is suicidal. Eat good food, keep your body healthy. Eat good food, keep your body healthy. Eat good food and keep your body clean and healthy. Get into a routine where you settle your mind with some meditation. Drink plenty water for hydration. Balance with some fiber to keep you regular. Let me name some foods very good for your structure, like yam and banana, coconut and water. The good susumba, okra and cassava. Cinnamon, onion, ganja, aloe vera. Fit to the better, fit to the better. So eat good food, keep your body healthy. Eat good food, keep your body healthy. Eat good food and keep your body clean and healthy. Get into a routine where you watch out. Dangerous virus could be in your region, caused by unhygienic germs transmission. So when you hear somebody sneeze, keep your distance. So awareness must be extra protection. Aloe vera for sanitization.
Eat good food.
Man, it's a must. It's a must.
You know, this is really good for you know, like in the cafes and stuff like that. Yeah, man.
People have told me they play it when they're in the gym working out.
Yeah.
Yeah. They use it as a workout shoe.
Right. There you go. Well, shout out to Sean Atkins, just left the building and says he's going to hit the street. Shout out to all our listeners in the States. And Osun Yemi too. He says, that is too extreme. I'm not sure what you're talking about specifically there. Is about the meat eating or something like that? Let us know. Yemi?
Keep your body healthy, eat good food and keep your body clean and healthy. Get into a routine where you exercise daily. Look after your soul.
So tell us, Radikal Ra, where can they find, listen to your tunes?
All right. I've just started using what they call a micro site. These little things now, where I've just put everything online in one place. Yes.
Right.
And you can actually access that at with Koji. That's withkoji.com/radical with a K. I spell radical with a K. And I'm going to be using this for the time being. I only started using it a couple of days ago. But literally, everything I put online, I want to put in this one place.
Mm-hmm.
And now I've started to incorporate new things. Like how we've had this interview, and you've seen that my teaching's coming from many sources. I've got a thing called Ask Me Anything. Yeah? You can send a question to me about any topic.
Mm-hmm.
Aliens, Antarctica, yeah? mRNA, AIDS, HIV. Ask me anything, and I will do my best to answer it. You can ask me about
spiritual. What's the space called?
Well, there's an app called Ask Me, I think it's called, or Ask Me Anything, and I'm using it in the app called With Koji. Yes. This is a new thing. If you are into latest technology, there's a new trend. People aren't using websites no more. That's getting to be old now. It's called microsite. On this one microsite, I've got, let me go to it. I mean, literally.
It links all your social media into
everything I've got online.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can put in one place. Listen, let me tell you. As a producer, I'm now offering jingles, adverts on the same app. I've got links to my songs. I've got links to my YouTube channel. Yeah.
So it's something that you can download.
People can donate through this app.
Okay.
I can sell digital products. People can buy my songs from this app. Yeah. If I produce a ebook, PDF, template, the list goes on. You can
So
opt in. You can join my fan base there. You can join the fan base. Is a way to opt in, and I will be starting to share some exclusive mixes, some exclusive merchandise. I'll be giving away. I'll be starting to do competitions.
Yeah.
All from this one
So
app.
at the moment, where can they?
Yeah, this is what
if they wanna, are you on Instagram?
Yes, Instagram. You tap in Radikal Ra, and you will find me. Radical with a K. Yeah. I've used Martin.free on some platforms like. Where did I use that one? I use that one on Twitter, I think. Yeah, but generally Radikal Ra is the name, my username, my main username.
Okay, you're on Twitter as well.
Yeah. So you can catch me on Twitter,
Facebook,
Instagram, TikTok.
Okay.
But it'll be easier if you just go to withkoji.com @radical /@radical, and you get everything there. Everything.
So that link is on your Instagram and do.
Yeah, I'm now in the process of putting that link in all the bios.
Right.
So anywhere you find me, you can still come back to this one central point. Everything's there.
Right. And you can actually create that site yourself, the microsite.
Yeah, it is very easy to use.
Template, yeah.
These microsites, I'm telling you, for any young people out there who's looking to really establish themselves online, want to look into microsites. It didn't take me long to set this up. It's easy to use, and it's so, how could I say, multifunctional.
It's interesting, isn't it? I mean, when you look at back in the days, we had MySpace, and nobody talk about MySpace these days. And website is, like you said, even it was a big deal to have a website. Now you can actually create your website from start to finish. So there's a lot of things where it's in our hands.
It really is down to us, or up to us in terms of how ambitious or how strong the drive or the curiosity or the determination is. There's really very little stopping us now. And it's time to bring your magnificence forward. This is something I've heard, and I'm now sharing this message. I've been told to bring my magnificence forward. Work with your magnificence, not with your doubts, with your magnificence. The things that really excite you is telling you something that you should be doing.
I mean, when you think of the future, whereby you have it, you're showing me, and you got your mobile phone in your hand, and in that mobile phone, piece of equipment there is everything to do about your life. Is it a future where we can become less interactive with human beings?
You see, that's when we go out of balance, because the real balance is to maintain the communication and still have those ties.
When I mean human beings, it's like, I mean on a physical, face-to-face
contact,
chat and
interaction.
all of that. Is that how the future is looking at? We are so kind of separate.
It's all in our hands. It's all in our hands. We make that choice whether we're going to make this technology more important than human interaction. Yeah, that will be detrimental, because that's not progress. Yes, one of the teachings I've come across again shows that there has been advanced beings who put away external technology and developed the technology that dwells within. They went within and can do some amazing things. Suppose now we also have the same technology. Everything that we're using with the computers, we can trigger our own, gifts that we have to do the same thing with. That's our choice if we choose that path. So I don't know how far we're gonna go down the road with these external technologies before we realize it's all inside. We have to wait and see.
So do you, in terms of the consumption as well, because we consume a lot of data, and so obviously those data in somehow consume our time and our focus. So in terms of an advice, is it appropriate, or what would you say appropriate for us to, because even when you're working for that capitalist organization, you got 2 days off. So you work 5 days and you got 2 days off. What would you say when it comes to technology? Should we have a days off? Or is this something that we think is just part of our life now?
It all depends on what you're trying to achieve. You know, it's a tool. Like a knife can be used to peel an orange or you can kill somebody. So it's really, what are you trying to achieve? It's the objective, the aim of what you're trying to achieve with the technology. Now, in terms of balance, it's gonna be important to maintain, you know, the balance of interacting with the real world. And what comes to mind is the technology. Well, it's certain things I don't know if I really want to say, but the technology, maybe I just need to repeat and emphasize the fact that it's a tool. You know, and it's in our control. I'm now seeing videos of robots that people can't tell whether it's a robot or human. This is where it's at, but I don't know how it's gonna go.
So
I would just say my advice would be, look at the technology that dwells within. That is the highest technology.
You know, because one time I remember the first thing that happened to me, it was not by choice, it was by chance. When my battery died and went to sleep, and I just could not even turn my phone on. I just decided to just leave it, and for the whole day, and the next day I switched it back on. But what I felt was that I felt very light. You know, everything was off. I didn't go to computer, nothing. And I felt very light. And the next day, you know, when I switched my phone back on, there was a call coming in. There was so many different calls, and like, where have you been? What happened? And I didn't even realize that when my phone is off, that means you're off from Facebook, Instagram, and, you know, things like that. So it's like I was gone. I was completely dead, right? But what I felt was regenerate my energy, you know, and I felt so relieved, so light, so refreshed.
Yeah.
So
I think it's good to do that.
Yeah, that's what I was saying about advice. Is this something that we look at to carry on for the rest of our life with us, or sometimes we just have to switch it off? What would your advice be?
You have to every now and then switch it off. I spent a few days without phone during lockdown 2021, and it was well worth it. Well worth it, because the reliance, the thing is, we get so how could I say, we use it so much sometimes that we get addicted to it. It's as if we're addicted to it, you know. So every now and then, put it down, distance yourself, take a day or two out. It's going to be healthy to do that and maintain the perspective of the balance, because only by putting it down for a while you realize how much you've been using it.
I mean, also as well, I think the notifications that we have on is really getting people irritated, anxious, and sometimes, you know, trying to reach to the phone when you hear these noises, and sometimes break things on the way. Accident happened.
Yes.
So what would you say then to people who constantly have, and you know, various different notification?
I can't tell anybody how to.
Is it best to turn them off?
But you really have to know where you stand in your situation. Some people need to have that notification. Maybe they rely on it to do some work, or they're in a job situation, so it's not so easy. Then they need to check, well, if they have to have it on, they need to control their reaction then. You see, there's the element as well, because there's being proactive and reactive. You know, if we're always going to be reactive to the phone, then that phone can control you. Another thing I was going to say, there's so many new developments like the metaverse. You know, that has the potential to to really take over your life, because that's like you're gonna be entering into a new world. So my advice again would be for that type of activity to be a producer, not a consumer. Are you with me?
I'm with you. So
Yeah.
there's a track you've got out now called is the latest single, Mind Over Matter.
Mind over matter. Yeah, I've been getting some really good responses about this, and it's all about going within again. You know, so I don't really want to say too much about it. Hopefully, the message is fairly clear. You know.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
let's all take a listen. Here, Mind Over Matter, Radikal Ra.
Keep your eyes on the prize. Stay focused, focus, yeah. This a one is a manifestation. You activate your plan, you put plan in action. Some say concentration, me say a meditation. It's all about your feelings and the vibration. What about your thoughts and your intention? Move from chaos to organization. Tell the monkey, get out and find somewhere else to jam. Cause too long, him a put up resistance. Mind over matter, matter into motion. From you can hold it in your head, hold it in your hand. Mind over matter, matter into motion. With your heart and your soul and your mind as one. Knock, knock on the door and it open. Ask, and you receive when you know. There's no need to believe it's a fact that you already achieve, and then you acknowledge that you have already. Now ask yourself, what does it feel like to be on the other side where the grass is so green? Sight the feeling, you know what I mean. Mind over matter, matter into motion. From you can hold it in your head, hold it in your hand. Mind over matter, matter into motion. With your heart and your soul and your mind as one. There's enough to go around in this abundance. From you know where you want, just take your portion. Make some preparation with no expectation. Then move towards your goal, reach your destination. When you're in the zone, you just can't go wrong. Your joy in your heart is your foundation. What is your compass? Your emotion. When you feel the feeling, move in that direction. Mind over matter, matter into motion. From you can hold it in your head, hold it in your hand. Mind over matter, matter into motion. With your heart and your soul and your mind as one. Vibes flowing, flowing like river into ocean. It's the same vibration from creation. When we say head to hand, it's not fiction. Cause thoughts are things and things affect things. And everything in the universe is one. Now the light of the world is in everyone. Everything upon the earth, whether sea or land first. Words are not the manifestation. Mind over matter, matter into motion. From you can hold it in your head, hold it in your hand. Mind over matter, matter into motion. With your heart and your soul and your mind as one. Mind over matter, matter into motion. Hold it in your head and you can hold it in your hand. Mind over matter, matter into motion. With your heart and your soul and your mind as one.
Yeah, man. Mind Over Matter.
Matter into motion. Yeah, man, keep it moving.
This one is really great, man. It's like you can just go with it along any time.
All
It's
right.
a great beat.
I'm glad you like it.
It's kind of infectious, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, by the time,
Okay.
you know, I mean, it finishes, you're thinking about it again.
That's the idea, you know. It has a lingering effect, and should want the listener to play it again. So that's the idea. Yeah.
That's
But
so true.
definitely, I mean, that is a message that I feel that, you know, a lot of us would do well to hear, because we do create our reality. You see, we create our reality, and if you're creating your reality by default, you could be doing it to your detriment. So to have that ability to consciously create, you're now taking control of your life. Everything starts with that thought. Then if it's at the root of all things that you do, your activities, then you need to be aware of it. For me, meditation has helped. You know?
Very good.
And sometimes a split-second thought can fly through your mind, and you might ignore it. But with, how could I say it? With that awareness, you might take note of that fleeting thought, and that could be a message that has great significance on your path. So be aware of your thoughts.
Indeed. Shout out to Osun Yemi too. I think it's in regards to the technology and the interaction. We used to interact back in the days without technology on the mobile phone. And he said that I used to talk to everybody. Now I limit it. Is that a position that now most of us do find ourselves, where we're talking less to people, but we're texting more?
Yeah, I'm experiencing that as well. And it seems like people are now substituting the texting messages for real conversation. And they feel like, okay, because that person sent me a message by text, I don't need to phone them. They're all right. I know they're all right because they sent me a text. When it's not the same. It is not the same. And I'm seeing this and I'm saying, it's not the way forward. It's not the way forward. So it takes effort to really consciously say that you're not going to go down that path, where most of us are just doing it by default. So it's something that we're seeing. It's happening. And the only way you can really stop it from happening to you is to consciously say, no, I'm going to put in that effort and keep in communication, make the call, because it's easier to call people.
But this is what I'm saying. I mean, it's very easy, but the contemplation, the thought, don't you think we spend more time thinking whether we should call or text?
Yes.
I talked about my phone, the contact, and Osun said that, I have like 5 people I talk to now. So, I mean, the amount of contacts we have on our phones, it's quite true that we talk less than 10 people a day, or we call less than 10 people a day, or even for the week that we regularly call more than this amount of people. So isn't that incredible that we have so much more that we don't really make use of at all?
Yes, the same thing again, belly full but hungry. So we have more than enough, but what are we doing with it? Is it really helping? All that we have. Sometimes you hear about these people becoming rich, like famous people, and they buy big mansions and all of these things, but they don't really need it. Don't really need it.
How many hours can you sleep at a time?
Exactly.
There's a track here called Feverish.
Feverish is an instrumental. Now this is showing that, there's different aspects of music that I deal with. I produce a variety of music. It's just that I'm focusing on reggae vibes at the moment. But as a musician, I've listened to many types of music.
So who's your influencer when it comes to music?
Influences include Bob Marley, Stevie Wonder. When it comes to jazz, we're talking about Wes Montgomery,
right?
John Coltrane.
Yeah.
They were influences on a jazz level, I've listened to Miles Davis. Yes. I'm just thinking of other types of music. Fela Kuti.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in terms of as a producer, how many instruments do you play? You mentioned earlier on you're playing guitar.
As a producer, the main instrument is the computer right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I use an MPC Live to start a lot of my beats and then transfer it to the computer. Yeah, but like musically, guitar, I play a little bit of keyboards, I play drums and bass. I play bass and guitar in bands mostly.
Right. In bands?
In bands, yeah.
Okay, tell us about that. I mean,
bands, okay. I started playing at school and then I stopped. Now when I left college, while I was at college, I started taking lessons again. Guitar, I started the theory, and it was the guitar teacher at that time that introduced me to blues and jazz.
Right.
And it was kind of new to me, but it was exciting because like again, it was like something new to learn. And the music, it just opened me up to another world. So the jazz is an influence on me.
All right.
You
Well,
know?
this sounds a little bit jazzy and really beautiful. Let's take a listen to it. Let's give our viewers and listeners opportunity to catch a vibe.
All right.
So, any idea about this track? I mean, what you're going to do with it? What
You know,
sort of
one of-
lyrics are you going to lay?
One of the directions I'm also moving in is theme music for TV and, TV programs, films and stuff like that. So there's that element I'll also be pursuing and making my music available for that application. Yeah. So that's one angle.
It sounds like a movie soundtrack.
Yeah. In fact, I had that kind of, I think it was a Y50. You remember that one?
Wi-Fi.
Hawaii 50. There was a program back in the days called Hawaii 50. A cop in Hawaii.
Right.
Yeah. And the theme tune for that was made into reggae. It was a really, really good melodic tune. And this beat kind of reminded me of that. So I was thinking, TV show.
All right, brilliant. Yeah, I mean, it's got that sort of theme to it. You said you was in a band. Tell us about the names of the band that you're in.
I was in one of the first bands I was in. I actually, while I was taking lessons at college, just went and applied in one of these magazines, not magazine papers. They used to have a paper that come out called a Loot. It's come out in different colors for every day. Yeah. And it was just a loot. I just got the loot and just looked for bands that was looking for musicians.
Yeah.
And there was a Irish band that's saying that they wanted a guitarist and they were playing a combination of folk music and reggae music.
Yeah.
So I said, all right, I need to get out there. My guitar teacher told me, so this is the best way you're going to learn to play.
Yeah.
Go out there and just start doing gigs. So I joined the band and we started doing some local gigs.
You remember the name of the band?
That was called Neutral Ground.
Neutral Ground.
Yeah, Neutral Ground. And
folk and reggae music.
Irish folk music. We done the Irish pub circuit. And it was there I got that insight to some of the Irish culture. Right. And they were very cultural people for Europeans, from my perspective. And then a few years there was overlaps. I also started working with Freddie Notes. I don't know if you know Freddie Notes from down. Used to run a youth club in Kennington. Yeah, you might not know him, but don't worry. He had a big hit back in the 70s called Montego Bay.
Right.
Right, and that tune took him around the world. I done a few gigs with him. We used to have rehearsals down at the youth center, and I done some shows with him in London, also Birmingham. I also work with Pax Nindi. Do you know Pax?
Pax Nindi?
Yes. He had a band called Harare Dread. Pax is somebody that was born in Malawi, grew up in Zimbabwe.
Right.
He sings in Shona and other languages. And I learned a few things from him. We done many festivals. That was more festivals, summertime festivals, park events. That was that era. And I played guitar and bass with Pax. Pax is a pioneer. I have to pay my respects. And he created a thing called dub vision. He was the first one to combine visions with dub music before digital technology. Yeah?
Right.
And he's still going strong right now. Yeah,
Very innovative.
I'm gonna send him the link to
yeah, you should have, yeah, man. So you kind of like gained experience through those stages.
By interacting and working with other musicians. Yes, there was a lot to learn, and they were these other musicians were prepared to show and share their information with me. So that I was grateful for that. You know, I mean, there's other interactions that I came across. Like when I was taking guitar lessons, I was also taking vocal lessons. This is where I met Lorna. So it's been a gradual, step by step. And
Have you worked with Lorna before?
I've never done a show with Lorna.
Okay.
It was only a few lessons that I took. And
she's a great vocalist.
Excellent, brilliant, you know. And it's amazing that we've actually kept in contact over all these years. But there's a reason for everything.
In fact, you can actually watch our show upstairs at the Ritzy in December on Ferry to London.
I've seen it.
Yeah,
Brilliant, brilliant. Yeah, man.
Amazing.
No vibes. Yeah, man. So
and please make sure you share and you like as well. Thank you.
Yeah, I think I've actually shared that one in a few groups.
So what sort of message do you have for young artists growing up in the UK, where sometimes, you know, one will feel that there's an opportunity, but it seems as if you have made the way for yourself. So what would be your advice?
Well, along my journey, you know, over the last 10 to 12, 13 years, I really wasn't really involved in music. I was pursuing a business dealing with nutrition.
Right.
And more or less took myself away from the scene and didn't really do much, anything. So it's only over the last 2 to 3 years now, just coming up to 3 years, where I'm now focused on the music, and I'm seeing the state of it as it is for young people to come up in this industry now. It's easy in one sense, but hard in another sense, because whereas before you could just focus on your music and perfect your art and just do that, it's no longer that game. It's now a game where you have to manage yourself. You have to do your own marketing, put yourself out there, get heard, as well as produce the music. So I would say try to maintain that balance where you're aware of getting exposure and getting your music promoted and played in places where you can, you know, possibly get some promotion there.
Wow, that's indeed, man. And in terms of contact, I know you've given it, but how can someone contact you directly?
Directly, it's gonna be
you're producing now, and the feverish track that we had there, that can be used for so many different, purposes. So, how can one contact you directly?
The easiest way is the social media. You know, Insta, any one of them will
on Instagram, Radikal Ra with a K. Yeah?
Yes, on Instagram, I've actually had to start a new one, which is just music. So you can either find me as Radikal.Ra on Instagram, and you know, I would say if you even don't remember nothing of this interview and you want to contact me, just Google Radikal Ra with a K, and something will come up where you can contact me. Definitely. It's not really that hard now, because I've made sure I've got a few different points of presence, online presence, you know, and the message for the young musicians coming up: be true to yourself. This has always been my thing to really solidly, as you know, determine. How could I say? For me to really know who I am and what I stand for, yeah, I'd have to really say be true to yourself musically, and I guess it's really knowing yourself and knowing what you want to achieve from music and what you want the listener to feel. Yeah, although first and foremost, where I'm coming from is for me first, and then that's more secondary. But being true to yourself is, I think, very important on the journey in life.
Yeah, so true. And also, you were nominated, isn't it? Were you nominated?
No.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. No, I don't remember being nominated for anything.
All right. Well, the time will
Maybe
soon come.
one day. Maybe one
Yes,
day.
yes. For me to think about it, what I mean, it's in the ethers, isn't it?
But you see, there's awards and there's rewards. I'd rather be rewarded.
Okay.
What I mean by that is awards sometimes are man-made thing, or is man saying yes, you deserve an award. A reward is like action reaction in terms of you put out something, the energy will come back to you.
Yeah, it's good to have both as a musician, because if you can be awarded for all the works that you've done through inspiration for others as well, and then rewarded by buying your music and making sure that people promote, and I think both can do well.
I wouldn't refuse it unless it's something like a MBE or OBE.
You see, that's what I'm saying. So, both can do well, actually.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Radikal Ra, thank you very much, man, for coming in today. What sort of message would you have for the listeners from Fefferity Radio here? Times are hard, so what's the message?
Okay, the message is gonna be very simple. There's certain things I always say, like things that I always say to myself to try and motivate myself, and I guess to say something that for me keeps evolving is love is everything. And as simple as it sounds, there's a lot to it. It's the oneness. I always remember that oneness.
And also, when is the album coming out this year?
This summer. I haven't set up a specific date, but I'm aiming at this summer. It may be mid to late summer, but there's gonna be singles leading up to the album, so look out for that. And if there's any opt-ins, if you opt in, well, there are opt-ins. If you opt in and sign up, then you will definitely not miss out. You will be aware of any releases and any announcements.
And your music can be found in all the social,
all digital platforms. If you've got Spotify, Amazon, iTunes, Apple, blah 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 blah, you got my music.
Okay. Well, I want to say thank you very much, man. How's that been for you? I mean, today here on Fefferity
It's been
Radio?
great. It's been great. Like I said, I love sharing information, and if there's anything that I can share that's gonna be of benefit, I'm glad for the opportunity. I'm glad, because it gives me a chance to share my knowledge and experience.
Okay.
So I'm grateful to you, DJ Freestyle and Fefferity Radio. I've been hearing about you for a while, and it's like, yeah, now I'm here.
You like
Live
it?
and direct. Yeah, I like the setup. I like what you're doing, and I appreciate the effort that you're putting in, because I know it's not easy. I've done some of the things that you're doing, and I know it's not easy.
Yeah, man.
So enough respect to you, and keep up the works.
Thank you very much. Well, really, I mean, a pleasure having you here, and I've really enjoyed it talking to you. And it's not going to be the last. We're waiting for the album to come out, and
All right, then. We'll be
hopefully
back.
we do our live events as well, where we promote artists and musicians. So,
Ready for the show, man.
welcome. You be on one of our list, man.
All right. Yeah, I'll be ready for the show. No problem.
Nice one, man.
Showtime,
Radikal Ra,
showtime.
thank you very much for coming here. And this is your track. We're going to leave them with Mind Over Matter.
Stay focused, focused.
Yeah, keep your eyes on
That's
the prize,
right, man. Keep it up. Keep it up. Until then, take it easy. Have yourself a beautiful, beautiful evening. Please make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, share and like. Thank you very much.
This a one is a manifestation. You activate your plan, you put plan in action. Some say concentration, me say a meditation. It's all about your feelings and the vibration. What about your thoughts and your intention? Move from chaos to organization. Tell the monkey, get out and find somewhere else to jam. Cause too long, him a put up resistance. Mind over matter, matter into motion. From you can hold it in your head, hold it in your hand. Mind over matter, matter into motion. With your heart and your soul and your mind as one. Knock, knock on the door, and it open, ask. And you receive when you know there's no need to believe it a fact that you already achieve, and then you acknowledge that you have already. You know, ask yourself, what does it feel like to be on the other side where the grass is so green? The sight, the feeling, you know what I mean. Mind over matter, matter into motion. From you can hold it in your head, hold it in your hand. Mind over matter, matter into motion. With your heart and your soul and your mind as one. There's enough to go around in this abundance. From you know where you want, just take your portion. Make some preparation with no expectation. Then move towards your goal, reach your destination. When you're in the zone, you just can't go wrong. The joy in your heart is your foundation. What is your compass? Your emotion. When you feel the feeling, move in that direction. Mind over matter, matter into motion. From you can hold it in your head, hold it in your hand. Mind over matter, matter into motion. With your heart and your soul and your mind as one. Vibes flowing, flowing like river into ocean. It's the same vibration from creation. When we say head to hand, it's not fiction. Cause thoughts are things and things affect things. And everything in the universe is one. Now the light of the world is in everyone. Everything upon the earth, whether sea or land first. Words are not the manifestation. Mind over matter, matter into motion. From you can hold it in your head, hold it in your hand. Mind over matter, matter into motion. With your heart and your soul and your mind as one. Mind over matter, matter into motion. Hold it in your head and you can hold it in your hand. Mind over matter, matter into motion. With your heart and your soul and your mind as one.
Now, brothers and sisters, good night. Hope you're feeling alright. We come freestyle at the control to make things bright and to make you feel alright. Alright? Alright. Now the summer comes and the winter goes and the rain falls and the green grass grows and everything of its time, and this happens to be freestyle. Catch the profile.